1, 2, check 1, 2, 3. Test, mic check, mic check. Hi, everybody. I know you're already watching me. I'm just trying to check to make sure the microphone's working. We'll get started, of course, in about 27 seconds. This lesson today, this English lesson, will be about Canada. Sometimes I do lessons because I think they're important for you. Sometimes I do lessons because I just want to celebrate Canada Day, which is today. So we'll get started in 10 seconds. I'll probably repeat some of the things that I just said, but certainly welcome to this lesson. Here we go. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson. And the topic today will, of course, be Canada. Today is July 1st. It is the first day of July, and that is a holiday here in Canada because it is Canada Day. It's the day we celebrate the beginning of our country. Way back in time, a bunch of people decided that Canada should be a country, and July 1st is the day where we celebrate that. So it's a really nice day. It's a holiday. People don't need to go to work today, and I thought it would be a fun day to do a lesson about Canada, my country. So I know I do lessons that are very important for you. I usually choose topics carefully. Today is more of a fun lesson. It's a lesson that I decided to do because I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy learning a little bit about my country. I think you'll enjoy learning a few English words and phrases that you can use to talk about your country as well. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about the country of Canada. Before we get started though, I do need to do an audio check and a technical check. It looks like everything's working great. I do want to say hi to Mode Ags. Hi Mode Ags, good to see you. Lolly, Musa is here. Freddie Wolf, Anuat, Todd, the Canadian, of course. Key Park. I know Brent from Speak English with This Guy is here as well. Lemon Cute, Apple the Frog. Let me scroll back. Eduardo is here as well. And let me see. I know Maria C is here. Betty Lou. So many familiar faces. If I forgot to mention your name, I apologize. But it certainly is fun to be here. And it's certainly fun to be able to do an English lesson for you. Looks like everything is working. For some reason, my camera is still being a little weird when it comes to focusing. Sorry, now I'm being a little weird. Anyways, I think everything is working well and we can get this lesson started in just a moment. Before we do though, I want to mention a couple things. One, Brent from Speak English with This Guy will be doing a lesson about July 4th, a holiday in the United States, which is the country to the south of us. And we usually call them our neighbors to the south. I hope the Americans call us their neighbors to the north. So if you want to watch that lesson, if you want to join that live lesson, that will be starting in about an hour right after this one is done. If you like having English conversations, please do use the chat to have English conversations. Enjoy having conversations with each other. And let's try to keep the chat in English. That is just helpful for everyone. I see a lot of people saying Happy Canada Day in the chat. Thank you very much. I'm sure Todd and Dave, I'm not sure if Dave has arrived yet, will appreciate that as well. And all the other Canadians who are here. But enough about me and enough about my country. Wait, no, I'm going to be talking quite a bit about my country. I was going to mention one other thing. If you have a question, please use the form to ask that question and I will be happy to answer it. But let's, oh, Eugene has shown up. Eugene is also Canadian. Happy Canada Day, Eugene. Good to see you here. Let's get this lesson started. Canada Day. So I talked a little bit about Canada Day in my introduction, but Canada Day is July 1st. Today, if you are watching this lesson on July 1st, it is Canada Day. It's a holiday. That means that we do not need to go to work. No matter what your job is, you usually get Canada Day off, and it's a nice day to have off. And we celebrate in a variety of ways. Sometimes people will go to an outdoor concert and at the end there will be fireworks. Sometimes people go to the downtown area of their city or to the largest park in their city, and then that evening there will be fireworks. We're still trying to figure out if there are fireworks and where we can go if we decide to go out tonight. We don't always go out on Canada Day. But anyways, Canada Day, kind of the birthday of Canada. Way back in 1867, they decided to begin the formation of a country. I won't go into too many details because It actually took a few years for Canada to become an actual country, but way back in 1867, it was the beginning of what would become Canada. And we do say Happy Canada Day on Canada Day. That is the standard greeting. And the Canadian flag. So my daughter gave me her little Canadian flag. It's a little bit wrinkly. I think we should take better care of our flags. But today you will obviously see lots of little Canadian flags out there when you drive around. People will put a flag up. People will put flags on their cars. People will even paint little Canadian flags on their faces. People will wear hats. I lost my hat. People will wear hats like this today that say Canada on them. I might wear this hat if I go out later. You can see there is a Canadian flag on the side. We are simply proud of it. If you look at the Canadian flag, it has a maple leaf in the middle. The reason the Canadian flag has a maple leaf in the middle is because there are a lot of maple trees in Canada. When you watch my live lessons when I'm outside, I'm sitting under a maple tree. If I don't like that tree and I move to the other tree, it's also a maple tree. There are a lot of maple trees in Canada, so we have put the maple leaf on our flag. Our national anthem, which you will hear if you go to any sporting event or any large gathering, is called O Canada. I'm not going to sing it, but every country in the world has a national anthem, not a natural anthem, a national anthem. And our national anthem is called O Canada. And probably you will hear this most often if you go and watch a Maple Leafs game, which is a hockey team, or a Raptors game, or any kind of sporting event. They will sing the national anthem. And usually, because we play against a lot of American teams, they will play both national anthems, ours and theirs. But ours is called O Canada. O Canada, if I make this really big, O Canada, our home and native land. I don't know if you can see that there on the slide. Maple tree. So a maple tree, as I said, is a very common tree in Canada. The leaf is very distinct. You can see here that it's easy to identify a maple leaf. So this is the tree that you will see very, very often. If you go to a park in Canada, you will see maple trees, especially in my part of Canada. I live in the middle and towards the east, you will see a lot of maple trees. And of course, because we have a lot of maple trees, we also have a lot of maple syrup. So whenever I do an English lesson about Canada, I always highly recommend that you try some maple syrup. Maple syrup is, of course, made in a lot of different parts of the world, but Canada is, I think, one of the biggest producers of maple syrup, if not the biggest producer of maple syrup. In fact, I think one of the biggest crimes in Canada ever committed is still the theft of truckloads or a truckload of maple syrup, I think. I have to check that one. Don't quote me on it. This is not a lesson filled with science and facts. It's a lesson filled with Bob's random thoughts. But maple syrup, you take the sap from the maple tree, you boil it down so the water evaporates, and eventually you have a nice brown syrup, which is very, very sweet and has a very unique taste. Maple syrup is not cheap. We actually do not buy maple syrup very often, but we do have a friend who sometimes gives us maple syrup that they've made themselves. It's delicious. If you've never had maple syrup, you should try it. And of course, Canada is known for the outdoors. Because Canada is such a large country, and because most of the people live within 100 kilometers of the US border, the border with the United States and Canada, most people live within 2 or 3 hours drive from the border. There are people that live in northern Canada, but the vast majority of our population lives in the south. And that means that the northern part of our country is very open, it's very beautiful, and not a lot of people have settled there. So Canada is known as a place to visit if you enjoy the outdoors. If you enjoy hiking and fishing and hunting and skiing, if you enjoy boating or whitewater rafting or all of those things, Canada is a very cool place to visit because we have a lot of wide open spaces. If you enjoy the outdoors, if you enjoy nature, it is a great place to visit. Our national animal, as far as I know, is the beaver. The beaver looks like this. There are beaver that live around my place. Beavers usually build dams. And the reason the beaver is important to Canada is because originally, way back in time, people came to Canada to trap beavers to use their fur to make hats and coats and other clothing items. So the beaver pelt, or the fur of the beaver, was very important in the beginning, the early days of this country, because it was one of our biggest exports. So the beaver is our national animal. It's pretty cute, but some people get frustrated when beavers build dams. A dam is something that blocks water from flowing. So they're cute, but sometimes they can be a little bit annoying if they live by you. We also have a restaurant called Tim Hortons. You may have seen this restaurant. You may have visited this restaurant. It's probably best described more as a cafe than a restaurant. At Tim Hortons, you can get coffee, you can get tea, you can get specialty coffees like cappuccinos and espresso. You can get donuts, you can get croissants, or what we like to call croissants. Sorry, all of the French speakers out there. Not every English-speaking person in Canada orders a croissant when they go to Tim Hortons. They usually order a croissant. But it is a place where you go for a light lunch or for a cup of coffee, and it is uniquely Canadian. Although there are some Tim Hortons in the United States, it's definitely a very much a Canadian thing when I think about Canada. And of course, hockey. This is one of our national sports. My understanding is that we have two national sports, lacrosse and hockey. Hockey, of course, is a game that is played on ice. You wear ice skates, you wear equipment, you wear hockey equipment. You have a hockey stick and you skate around on the ice and you chase a little black puck and you try to score on the net. A lot of kids in Canada play hockey growing up. Myself, I played a lot of pond hockey. That means instead of going to the arena in the winter, my brothers and sisters and I and my cousins would play on a pond. The pond would freeze and we would play hockey on the pond. It was a lot of fun. But hockey is definitely, we almost would say, a national pastime. It's something that a lot of kids have played. If they haven't played hockey, most Canadian kids have at least skated a little bit and learned how to skate a little bit. Hey, let's look at some questions though. And I'm noticing the chat, there have been a lot of Happy Canada Days. One from Brent from Speak English with This Guy, one from Yaroslav, people using their super chats to give out, shout out Happy Canada. Thank you very much. Marcus Freeman says, Tim Horton is a former hockey player, right? Yes, Tim Horton played in the National Hockey League, and he is the one who started the Tim Hortons franchise. You'll have to read the history a bit more there, Marcus, but yes, definitely. Let me get to questions, though. I don't know if there's a lot. Okay, I'm surprised. Here we go. First question. I'll try to go fast. Azam says, hi, teacher. First of all, Happy Canada Day. Thank you. How do you celebrate Canada Day? Any special food, parade? So not usually parades, but there's definitely fireworks. Almost every town and city of a certain size will have fireworks this evening. So it's very common for people to take their lawn chairs, to go to a park usually, and to watch the fireworks. That is a very common thing to do. Let's see here. Renata says, hey, Bob, I have no question today. Happy Canada Day. Thank you. I would like to immigrate to Canada or to the United States. One of those two. I wish you a wonderful day, sir. I wish you all the best. Do a bit of searching, figure out where you want to go. You might have an easier time getting into Canada. I don't know. I might be wrong. We'll have to see. BB says, could you sell me your new dog, Bob? No, but I'll show you Walter tomorrow. I am doing a live lesson tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will make sure Walter makes an appearance. Ahmad says, hi, Mr. Bob. I hope you are doing great. Do you think Canadians are some of the happiest people in the world? I think before the pandemic, you could make an argument that Canadians were very content and very happy. But I think Canadians, like a lot of other people in the world, things are a little bit different now. Things are slowly going back to normal, but many Canadians are still upset and angry about something. So right now, I'm not sure any one in the world is the happiest, lives in the happiest country. I also just want to mention that I do love living in Canada, but I don't think it's the best country in the world. I would never say Canada is the best country. What I will say is that I think we're doing a lot of things right in Canada, but I think we have, especially in the last year, a number of things we need to fix. So it's a nice place to live. I do like it. So William says, how would you describe London? I'm planning to live in Canada, and I was thinking about London, Winnipeg, or Calgary. So Canada has a city called London as well. The city of London, Ontario, is about 2 hours from my house, and it is a beautiful city. It's quite large, but not as big as Toronto or one of our other larger cities, or Montreal, but it is a nice city. It has everything you would need, and the cost of living is very reasonable. It's cheaper to buy a house in London than it is to buy a house in Toronto. So I think you would enjoy it. Lots of beautiful parks, a really, really nice place to live. Let's see here. Boss Bob, it's great to create a paid channel. We're used to your wonderful way of teaching. Many have channels and we want to stay with you, or at least me. It's great to create a paid channel. Yeah, I'm not interested in, I'm not planning at any time to create a course and try to sell it, or a paid channel. I might do something like that in the future, but I'm very content right now to do live lessons, which are free, to publish a lesson on Tuesdays, which are free. There are ads. I do like it if you guys watch the ads at the beginning. That helps me. And I do like people who choose to be members, but it's not required. So I'll just keep doing it the way I'm doing it. Tina says, hello, Bob. Why doesn't Canada have a president? We have a prime minister, and that is our leader. So I'm not sure why we chose that name, but that's how we do things up here in Canada. Gergo says, hello, Bob. I'm from Hungary, and my question is, have you ever been in Europe? I have been at the airport in France. That's the only place I've ever been. And we couldn't leave because it was a layover. We were waiting for another flight. So that's it. I hope someday to travel a bit and hopefully see some of Europe. Mode the Missing Bobby. Hi, Mode. Good to see you. I know you took a few weeks to do a bunch of other things. Hi, Mr. Bob. I'm back. I missed you and all your bobbies. Happy Canada Day. Bon fête du Canada. Got any plans? At this point, we're still trying to figure out what we're doing later today. We might just stay home. I might go out and buy a box of fireworks. We might shoot them off here, or we might find something to do as a family. We haven't confirmed our plans yet, but I would like to see some fireworks either here at home or somewhere else. Ihor from Ukraine. Hi, Bob. What's the favorite national food in Canada? I think poutine is pretty popular right now. If I was to guess what food is sold the most in Canada, I would say it's probably pizza. It's not our national food, but definitely pizza is pretty popular. If I was to say what's an iconic food or drink in Canada, I would say the double coffee, which is coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars. Or poutine is definitely recognized as a very Canadian thing. Den Bird Nick, what interesting things can you say about your province you live in? We still very much live where when you drive from city to city, you are in the countryside. What I would say is that true of every province in Canada. There are a lot of people here, but they're all in our cities. People often comment when I make a video somewhere in a town that there aren't any people. Like yesterday morning, I made a video in a local town and there are no people because Canada has a population of 38 million now, and we're the second largest country in the world. So it's very spacious, I would say. Yaroslav, morning, the wisest teacher, Bob. Why do people like Canada so much? How do people celebrate your national day? Take care. I think people like Canada because I think it's still a country where there are opportunities to get a good job and make a living. In English, when you say you want to make a living, you want to earn enough money to be able to enjoy life a bit. In Canada, you can find a job. In Canada, you can support your family if you're married and have kids. I think people like that. And we also, it doesn't cost money to go to the hospital. We have free healthcare. but we do pay a lot of taxes. That's the drawback. What is the coldest province in Canada? I think if you are looking at provinces, I think northern Alberta is probably the coldest. If you live in the city of Edmonton, that is one of our coldest cities, as well as the province of Winnipeg. If you were to live in Winnipeg, or the province of Manitoba, if you were to live in the city of Winnipeg, it's very cold. It's cold in Ottawa too, in Ontario, but I think those provinces get a little bit colder. Hello, Bob. What is the peculiarity of the national character of Canadians? How do you think you are different from the Americans or the British? I would say the British, I don't want to make too many comments. I think the British are a little more serious. I think the Americans are a little more bold. And I think the Canadians are very laid back and funny, but we can act like our British cousins or American cousins when we need to. So we can be serious or bold, but we can also be pretty relaxed. That would be the American character. Riyadh says, Happy Canada Day, sir. We love you. Could you tell us about immigration to Canada in more detail? I don't know a lot. What I always recommend people do is do a search online, how to immigrate to Canada or how to study in Canada if you want to come here as a student. And you will find our government webpage, which has lots of information about that. It will be very, very helpful. This is from Apple the Frogs, whose birthday is July 28th. Hi, Bob. If you're confused at my name, I'm Apple the Frog. How's your day? My question is, do all Canadians like maple syrup have a happy Canada Day? No, I don't know if everyone likes it, but you have to think anything that's sweet and tasty, I would say most people do like it. Hey, let's get back to the lesson though for a bit. I'll do questions again in about 10 minutes. I do want to say hi to the 550 people watching. Thanks for being here for this English lesson about Canada. Mounties. So our national police force, we have local police and we have city police and we have provincial police, but our national police force is called the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, but we just call them the Mounties. They don't all wear red uniforms like this. This is more of the dress uniform or the one they wear if they go to a formal event. But the Mounties are our national police force. I guess they're similar to the FBI in the United States. They take care of crimes that occur in Canada that cross borders between provinces. So definitely the Mounties are a symbol of Canada. You will often see a Mountie in a show or on TV. Every once in a while, the Mounties will be there. Sometimes they actually do ride horses, and you can go and watch the Mounties. They do a show for people. That's a lot of fun. We're known a little bit for polar bears. We have all kinds of bears in Canada, but the polar bear may be one of the more popular. We're not the only country, of course, that can claim this, but polar bears live far up north where it's cold year round. And they are very, very dangerous. And I would be extremely scared if I saw a polar bear. And we definitely have winter. So it doesn't matter where you live in Canada. 99% of this country has snow in the winter. Remember, this isn't a science lesson. If you live in Vancouver, British Columbia, or if you live in the southwest of the province of British Columbia on the far west coast, it's very mild there in the winter, but most of the rest of the country will have some kind of winter, sometimes quite cold, sometimes fairly moderate. But where I live, we see snow every year. There's always snow in the winter, sometimes a lot, sometimes just a little. But we are definitely known for our winter. So I don't know if you recognize this. This is Canada Dry. I'm not even sure this has anything to do with Canada, but we definitely drink Canada Dry in Canada. And I think people around the world drink Canada Dry. It is ginger ale. So it's a pop or soda that's made with some ginger in it. It says 100% natural flavor, so it must have some ginger in it. We have ginger ale in our cupboard. It's quite common for people to drink ginger ale as one of their choices. I like it. It has a really refreshing taste. I don't drink a lot of pop, but when I drink pop, I drink Canada Dry ginger ale. If you walked into a store and said, "Where's the Canada Dry?" they would know what you're talking about. They would say, "Oh, it's in aisle 7 with the Coke and the Pepsi and all the other things." Poutine. So what is poutine? Poutine was invented, I think, in the province of Quebec, and it is made up of French fries with cheese, actually cheese curds, like very fresh cheese, and gravy or poutine gravy. It's not particularly healthy, but it's very, very yummy. So I do like poutine. What happens is the French fries are hot. They put the cheese curds on top and they start to melt a bit. And then they pour the gravy on, which is very hot, and it melts the cheese a little bit more. So it's kind of like this fun, gooey, salty, tasty, delicious thing to eat. I wouldn't recommend eating poutine every day. I think if you ate poutine every day, you would start to put on weight. But poutine is certainly something Canada is kind of known for. If you come here and you go to a restaurant, you should have poutine at least once to see what it's like. Celebrities. So Canada is known for exporting a lot of celebrities. There are a lot of people that you either hear on the radio or that you know as a singer, songwriter, or as an actor or actress who might be from Canada. People like Ryan Reynolds, people like Justin Bieber, Drake, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, if you like country music. William Shatner from the old Star Trek is actually Canadian as well. There's a fairly long list of Canadians who have, because of their talents, their ability to sing well or make people laugh, have made it really big in the United States. In English, when you say someone's made it big, it means they've become famous and they've made a lot of money. Jim Carrey is another one. So Canadians, for some reason, I think it's because it's so cold in the winter, we all have to entertain each other while we wait for spring. So we develop really good skills for entertaining. I'm not a good singer, but I think maybe I'm kind of funny. I think that winter helps produce funny people and talented people. So Canada is divided up into provinces and territories. I live in the province of Ontario. I speak French because I used to, a long time ago, I lived in the province of Quebec, which is a French-speaking province. And Canada is made up of territories as well. In the north, we have a few territories. So you can live in any of the provinces you choose. Ontario, of course, is the place where we have the capital of Canada in Ottawa. But certainly if you speak English, you can live in any part of Canada. If you speak French, you might enjoy living in the French-speaking parts. There are some areas in Ontario. The majority of Quebec speaks French, the vast majority. That means almost everyone. And even on the East Coast. So provinces are, I don't want to say they're like US states, I guess. Instead of having states, we have provinces. There, I said it. I don't always like to compare our country to the US. We also say a, which is a funny little thing we put at the end of sentences. So you might say something like, "It's pretty cold out, eh?" And in that sense, I'm prompting the other person to kind of agree with me. Like, "Dogs are really cute, eh?" Or "That dog's really funny, eh?" So you're kind of prompting the next person to say that they agree with you. It's pretty funny. It's used a bit for emphasis as well, right? If I said, "Oh, it's really hot out here, eh?" I'm basically saying it's hot, and then I'm emphasizing it by saying a at the end. So yes, we do say a. I've just said it a bunch of times. And we have two official languages. So in Canada, there are both French-speaking and English-speaking people. When you have any government document, it is in both languages. So we're officially, not everyone is bilingual. So let me make sure that you're aware of that. The vast majority of people who speak English only speak English, and the vast majority of people who speak French only speak French, but they probably have a better grasp on English than the English speakers do on French. Many English speakers in Canada learn some French in school and then kind of forget it. But we are definitely a country with two official languages, English and French. That's why I think I've shown you this before. like anything you buy in the store has French and English on it. So you can read both sides. There's usually 2 columns on the back of the cereal box. One side has French and the other side has English. We have gotten rid of our $1 bill and our $2 bill. So we used to have paper money for $1. There was an actual $1 bill and a $2 bill. But now we have what we call the loonie, which is $1, and the toonie, which is $2. The loonie is called the loonie because it has the loon, a type of bird, on it. And we just started calling it a loonie. Instead of a $1 coin, we started calling it a loonie. When the toonie came out, because it was a $2 coin, the word two and loonie were combined together to make toonie. So we have toonies and loonies as our $1 and $2 coin. Sorry, it just sounds funny when you say that out loud, loonie and toonie. It's kind of a funny thing to say. But that's what we use as our $1 and $2 coin. And it seems to work. I like it. I don't know what we'll call the $5 coin if it ever comes out. The foonie? I don't know. That doesn't exist yet. Hey, we're going to do some members only chat. Let me get that set up. And I will, of course, totally continue with the lesson in about 10 minutes. If you're new here and you're wondering what's going on, it's members only chat time. If you're a member of this channel, let me fix my camera there. If you're a member of this channel, you can ask questions directly in the chat right now, and I will answer them. I'll also continue to answer questions from the forum over the next 10 minutes. And again, thank you for being members. There are many of you who have been members for a long time, some of you fairly recent. When you're a member, you get a really fun plan for the week to help you learn English every Monday morning. You get an extra video on Wednesdays where Bob rambles about various things. You get your name in green. You get a crown during live streams in your name in green, and you can participate in members only chat. I'm sure there's something else you get, but it is a way you can support me so that I can spend time and earn a bit of a living doing this. And also at the same time, it makes my channel better. It helps me do what I want to do. Yaroslav says, is it true that Canadians apologize so often? Why is this? Yeah, I'm sorry, we do. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. Yes, Canadians do apologize a lot. Sometimes we even apologize before asking a question. Like in a store, I might say, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you tell me where the men's clothing section is? Yes, or even in a line, if someone behind me bumps me by accident, they'll probably say, oh, sorry about that, or I'm sorry. So yes, I think we do. Mode says Looney Tunes, which Looney Tunes was a really cool cartoon a long time ago when I was a kid. Is this expression so-so commonly used? For example, someone asks me, do you like this food? I say, just so-so. Is it like I am in between like and not like? Do you use that expression too in that case? Yes. The way I would say it though is this. Do you like that cup of coffee? Ah, it's so-so. Do you like that spaghetti? Yeah, it's so-so. So it means I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm definitely in the middle. How do you like your new car? Ah, it's so-so. I kind of like the color, but I don't like the gas mileage. Let's see here. Betty Lou, hi, the cutest teacher, Bob. Thanks again for those Wednesdays with Bob videos, which are so relaxing to watch every time. Lovely work. I'm definitely very relaxed when I make those videos because I'm just talking straight to you guys. So it's a lot of fun. Brent from Speak English with This Guy. Are Canadian kids taught about Terry Fox in school? That guy is pretty amazing. Yes. So Terry Fox was someone who attempted to run across Canada, even though he had an artificial leg, and he raised money for cancer research. So yes, we learn about, he's definitely one of the Canadian heroes when you look at that list. Lolly Lolly says, in 2020 and 2021, did Canadians celebrate Happy Canada Day? Merci, Bob. Yes, but we celebrated at home. No concerts, no fireworks. It was kind of sad. Key Park. Happy Canada Day, Bob. I have been to Montreal for a 10-week visit in McGill many years ago. That's a beautiful city and amazing university. Yes, Montreal is very beautiful. Cool that you could visit. Key Park also says, I love Canada very much. Hopefully I could have a chance to visit there again. That would be very cool. Wanda says, hi, Teacher Bob. Happy Canada Day. Which is the main religion in Canada? Thanks. I think not having a religion is the most common religion in Canada now. So what I mean by that is more and more people are what are called atheist. I would need to check, We were originally a Christian country, but we definitely have all religions in Canada, and we are open to all religions in Canada. That means no religion is illegal in Canada. But I think more and more people are not religious at all. Let's see here. Rod, the English teacher. Hey, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I could make it anyway, though. Thanks for being here, Rod. Good to see you. Brent says to Betty Lou. I'm a huge fan of Wednesdays with Bob. I also love the week at a glance. I should slow down, take a sip of water, and I should stop trying to read the comments so quickly. I should just take my time and enjoy them. Thanks, Brent. Thanks to Speak English with this guy for that comment. Mode Egg says, I just realized something. I think Mr. Bob has made sure his channel name clearly had the Canadian in it so people don't mistakenly think he's American, like they do with most Canadian celebrities. Yes, I added Bob the Canadian because I'm extremely practical when I name things. So it's very much like, what are people here for? To learn English. Who are they learning it from? Bob. What kind of English are they learning? Canadian English. I'll call my channel Learn English with Bob the Canadian. So that was the thought process. Freddie Wolf says, hi, Bob. Happy Canada Day. Thanks, Freddie. And then Freddie adds, the name Canada probably comes from the Iroquois word Kanata, which means village. Jacques Cartier baptized Canada, not only the village of Stadacona, Quebec City, but also the entire territory. Yes, we learn a lot in school about how the French originally colonized parts of Canada and how the English came later. And there was lots of conflict, and eventually we had this country. It's kind of cool. Betty Lou says to Brent, absolutely brilliant. Harry300 says, is there any adjectives to describe someone who is not either fat or thin? What dictionary website do you normally use, Bob? I just use Google as a dictionary because it'll put a definition right at the top. I don't know what we would describe someone who's not thin and not fat. I don't know if there's a word. Maybe Brent knows a word for that, but sorry, Harry. Noriko says, morning, sir. Mounties, is this a term that is used only in Canada? Can we use it in another country to describe it? So we use this term in Canada to describe our federal police force, the Mounties. And if you are from another country, you would call our police force the Mounties, yes. You wouldn't call the police in your country the Mounties, though. I think it's a unique Canadian term. Mode says, good morning, Rod. How's it going? Great to see you. It's good to see both of you, actually, Mode and Rod. MN says, hello. Eugene from Etobicoke says, I'm proud being a Canadian. It is very nice to have a day, especially after the last few years, to have a day where you can just be happy about your country and where you live. Freddie Wolf says, is there any alcohol in maple syrup? Well, there's sugar in maple syrup. There's no alcohol in maple syrup. I'm sure you could use maple syrup to make something, but I'm not familiar with that. Let's see here. Tamariyata says, member for 13 months. Hi, teacher. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tamer, for being a member for so long. Maria C says, happy Canada Day, Bob. You probably answered this already, but what is a typical dish in your country and which one do you like the most? I don't know if we have a typical dish. I should really look that up. I keep saying poutine, but that's pretty recent. We've only really had poutine in my part of Canada for about 20 years. So I'll have to do some research. Musa has become a member. Thank you so much, Musa, for joining and supporting the channel. Mode says July is an interesting month. It has Canada Day, the 4th of July, le 14 juillet, and someone's birthday. Maybe, but maybe my birthday's in August. This year I'm turning 49. Going to go backwards now. That's not true, by the way. I'm 50, so. Brent says, speak English with this guy. Not fat, not thin. I don't know, average weight. Yeah, I don't think there's an actual word for it. I've been trying to think about that in the back of my mind. I think we would just say he's not in shape, but he's not out of shape. He's somewhere in the middle. Musa says, oh yes, I'm a member again. Excellent, Musa. And Tomer says, happy Canada Day and its people. Thank you very much. Hey, let me do a few more questions from the chat and we'll get back to the lesson in a couple of minutes. Itsuki, hi, my best teacher, Bob. Happy Canada Day. I want to visit your country someday. If you get a bottle of maple syrup, how do you usually use it? Usually you have it on pancakes or you have it on French toast. Pancakes are a very flat type of bread kind of that you fry in a frying pan and you put butter and maple syrup on them. French toast is when you beat eggs and you dip bread in the egg and then fry it, and then you eat it with some butter and maple syrup on it. Ibrahim says, do you have a paid course? At this time, no. I've thought about doing that at some point, but not yet. I'm just going to keep doing the free stuff for a while. Another similar question from Leticia. Hi, dear Bob. Canadians only use maple syrup on pancakes, or can it be used in other dishes? So we have maple syrup flavored sausages. There's maple syrup definitely on pancakes or French toast. Maple syrup appears in a lot of places. So anytime you use sugar, if you want to sweeten and have a bit of a taste of maple, you can use maple syrup. Let's see here. Freddie Wolf says, Bob, are beavers in danger of extinction in Canada? I don't think so. I would need to check that one, Freddie. Mode meant Apple the Frog's birthday. Yes, correct. July 28th, I think he just said, right? Now I get it. Musa says, my dream is to visit Bob in Smithville. Smithville is a small town near me. Let's see here. Betty Lou, hi, the cutest teacher Bob. Question, what are your favorite French songs? Merci. So my favorite French song most recently is by Trois Gourmands. I can't remember the name, but it's Anthem. It's a very good song. It's from a year or two ago. Very, very fun. And they have another song too, which I like. It's kind of folksy French music. It's very good. Cecilia says, hello, Bob. Hi, Cecilia. And then maple syrup on snow is amazing too. Yes, it makes like a sticky cold candy. Eugene says, I will have a tour of the ROM this afternoon. So Eugene's going to the museum, the Royal Ontario Museum. Very cool. Modes thinks it's a song by Big Flo and Ollie. Not at this point. Nope, not at this point. Okay, let me get, let's see here. Let me turn off members only chat. Let's see here. Why can't I find the button to do that? Because it was hiding on me. Here we go. We'll go back to normal chat mode. We'll do that. Normal chat mode is back on, and we will go back to the lesson and finish that up. And then I will do a bunch of questions. I'll take some questions at the end. Trois cafés gourmands. Thanks, Freddie. Yes, I think I reversed the words, but definitely fun French music that I love. Okay, where are we at? I need to go. Toque. So a toque is a winter hat in Canada. Not everyone calls this a toque anymore, but definitely where I live, people call this a toque. In the winter, it's very cold. This hat doesn't cut it in the winter. When you say something doesn't cut it, it means it doesn't work very well anymore. This does not keep your head warm in the winter, but if you wear a toque, if you wear a winter hat, it will definitely keep your head warm. It's a lot nicer to have a warm toque on your head if it's minus 20 degrees Celsius and you have to walk outside. We, of course, have the Canada goose. You see these sometimes in my videos because they tend to live in the river beside my house. The Canada goose comes and goes. I think there's two kinds, but one kind at least flies south in the winter and then they come back. The Canada goose is nice, but what we don't like about them is they tend to live in some of our parks and they poop everywhere. So you have to be very careful. In fact, yesterday I made a video for my short English lesson channel and I stepped in some goose poop. It was not very nice. I had to clean my shoes when I got home, but this is a Canada goose. In Canada, we have a prime minister as the leader of our country. We do not have a president. Our current prime minister is Justin Trudeau. The prime minister lives and works in Ottawa, our capital city, and we elect a new prime minister every 4 to 5 years. I think this last time around it was just under 4. I have to check the rules, but it's not similar to the US. I don't think it's a hard and fast 4 years and you're done. It's a little more flexible than that, I think. But definitely the leader of our country is the prime minister, and you've probably seen ours on TV. Especially recently, he's been visiting and going to summits and stuff like that. The leader of a province is called a premier. And this is the premier of our province, Premier Doug Ford. He has been re-elected recently. At the beginning of June, we had an election and people came out and voted for him again. So he is now the leader again for the next 4 or 5 years. He was the leader through the entire pandemic. And so he had a lot of responsibility during COVID. In our country, more of the responsibility for how to deal with the pandemic fell on the shoulders of our provincial governments, because our provincial governments are in charge of healthcare and other things in the province, which our federal government isn't directly in charge of. So Premier Doug Ford, I think, did a pretty good job, so to speak. It's kind of hard to judge whether someone did a good job in leadership during a pandemic, because a lot of people were happy with decisions and a lot of people were upset. As I mentioned, Ottawa is our capital city. This is the capital of the country of Canada. If you do visit Canada, this is one of the cities that you should visit. I think it's a great place to go. It's very cold in the winter, but very nice in the summer. So if you do come to our country and if you want to visit the capital, you'll need to decide whether you want to experience the beauty of winter or the beauty of summer when you go there. But definitely visit Ottawa. And we are a democracy. That means that we have elections. In Canada, we have a federal election every number of years. We have a provincial election. We have municipal elections where you vote for the mayor of your town. But we are a democracy. In Canada, there are different political parties. As an election approaches, those political parties try to convince you to vote for them. And then we have a free and open vote to see who will lead our town, who will lead our province, and who will lead our country. The population of Canada, since the last time I did a lesson on Canada, has gone up. I think it was 37.5 million. Now it's 38 million. And please remember what I said before. We are a country of 38 million people, but we are the second largest country in the world. That means our cities are very full and very busy. But if you want to live somewhere where there aren't very many people, you can easily find that in Canada. As I mentioned earlier, I was in my local town, one of my local towns yesterday, and I was making a video and I didn't see any people. Actually, I talked to one person when I was done. So there was hardly anyone at the park. But our population is 38 million people. Well up from where it was when I was in school, because when I was in school, there were only 24 million people. Now there's 38. Our major cities, now there are more major cities than this, but our major cities would be Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary. There's obviously Quebec City as well. It's just not as big as Montreal. There's a city called Hamilton near me, which is close to Toronto, but it's not nearly as big as Toronto. Earlier, someone mentioned the city of London, very nice city, but these are our major cities. Toronto, Ontario, Montreal, Quebec, Vancouver is in British Columbia, and Edmonton and Calgary are in Alberta. Winnipeg's pretty big too, but those 5 would be our major Canadian cities. And are Canadians polite? This is the slide I'm going to end on. This is kind of a joke, right? Canadian vandalism. So someone spray painted on the sidewalk, but the message that they put on the sidewalk is actually a nice message. It's like, have a nice day. Are Canadians polite? I don't think we're any more polite than most people in the world. I think in general, Canadians are kind, but I don't know if we're more kind. We might just be very open to people visiting us. I think Canadians generally don't mind sitting around and chatting, having a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or even sitting around a campfire and having a beer or something like that. I think that because there is a lot of room in Canada and a lot of beautiful outdoor spaces, and just a lot of nice places to calmly be, maybe that makes us seem more polite. But I would just say we try our best to be polite. Hey, that's the lesson on Canada. Thanks to the 626 people for watching. I am going to continue the lesson right now by answering questions, but I do want to say if you're new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button. It always makes me happy. If you want to make Bob happy, click the subscribe button. And then do enjoy watching some of my videos. There will be a new video out Tuesday. And again, there will be a live lesson next week. So let's see here. Next question is from Betty Lou. Happy Canada Day. 1, Happy Canada Day. 2, what a lovely thumbnail. I love it. 3, your Wednesdays with Bob videos are my cup of tea. Yes, I've noticed that quite a few people who are members do watch them. They are enjoyable to make. All I do in that video is I kind of think about what's going on in my life and I talk about it for 3 minutes. It's not an English lesson, but I inevitably end up using some pretty unique common phrases that you might not hear in a normal lesson. So if you're curious, becoming a member gets you access to those. From Johnny, what's the weather in Canada? It's very dry here right now. Now, of course, Canada is a big country, so the weather is different in different places. But where I am, it's supposed to be 30 degrees today, and it's supposed to be quite warm. It hasn't rained for almost 2 weeks. We really need rain here. Let's see here. From Dave, hi, Mr. Bob. I'm planning to move to Canada. What does it mean for you to be a Canadian? Happy Canada Day. I just love living in a country where if you have an idea and you want to do something, like if you want to start a business, you can. If you want to go to school, you can. I think it's nice that there's opportunities for people to do things to make their lives better. This is from Kao. I just started learning English. Well, you know what? It's great that you've made a totally correct English sentence with your comment. So you're doing a good job, Kao. Good work. Mohammed, have you or anybody you know ever fallen into an ice hole in the winter during a hockey game? Not during a hockey game, but people, you need to check the ice before you go skating. And so when I go out to check the ice, I bring a ladder, a really long ladder, and I carry it with me. I haven't done this for a very long time, by the way. So if I did fall in, the ladder wouldn't go through the hole. I do know someone at the place where I work who did fall through the ice once. It's very, very dangerous because the water's so cold. Marco says, hi, Bobby. How are you doing, mate? What is your opinion about the metaverse? Cheers. I think that someday I will teach English in the metaverse. That's what I think. Someday I'll have to switch from YouTube to virtual reality. This is from Anik. Dear Teacher Bob, if not Canada, which country is the best in the world according to you? Thank you. Have a nice weekend. I will not answer that question. I do not want anyone to be annoyed because I didn't pick their country, but I do really want to visit France. So I will say that. I didn't say they're the best country, but I do want to visit there someday. Oh, and then the next question from Noriko. Happy Canada Day. Which country would you choose if you could move except France? We know you're a big fan of France. If I could move to any country in the world, you know, it depends if I wanted to learn a language or if I wanted to move to an English-speaking country. So if I moved to an English-speaking country, I've always liked the idea of living somewhere like Australia or in England. If I wanted to learn a new language, I would move to a French-speaking country. So maybe the French-speaking part of Belgium or something like that. So those would be the draws for me if I wasn't allowed to go to France. Synap says, hello, Canadian Bob. Can you make a video about Canada's famous dishes? I'll think about it. I don't actually know if we have any specific dishes that are famous. From Aid, hi Bob, have a nice day from Indonesia. I hope you're having a nice day over there as well. David says, hi Bob, est-ce que tu parles français? Oui, je parle français juste un peu. Quand je parle français, j'ai un petit accent. C'est un mélange entre québécois et le vrai français de France. That's me speaking French. I probably made 1 or 2 mistakes when I said that, but that's what happens when you speak a different language, one that you have learned. You make mistakes once in a while. Haley says, hi, Bob. I'm so appreciative of your teaching always. I just wondered, do you have any plans to teach pronunciation, like differences between R and L? Not particularly. My hope is that people, when they hear me, they can try to mimic how I pronounce, maybe use a bit of shadowing, and hopefully that helps. This is from Heart 9, Cactus 9, Heart 9, Happy Face. Hey Bob, what would you say when you meet someone who knows nothing about Canada? Love from a dinosaur lover. I would just say, come and visit. Visit at least once in the winter to truly appreciate Canada, and visit at least once in the summer. Let's see here. This is from Anatoly. Hi, Mr. Bob. Happy Canada Day for you and your family. I am Ukrainian and going to get visa and work permit and relocate to Canada. Thanks a lot for your lessons. You're welcome. And I hope you have no problems. I hope it's smooth sailing for you to come here. That would be great. This next one is from Sophia. Hello, dear Teacher Bob. I'm Sophia from St. Petersburg, Russia. Happy Canada Day. I just want to say thank you so much for your cozy, interesting lessons. You're welcome. They're fun to do. Next one from Kimmy and Kiwi. I was wondering if Kimmy and Kiwi were here. They are regular question askers. Good morning, Bob. What was Canada like when you were little? What did you like most about it? Thank you for your fun lessons. So when I was little, I think I liked winter. I liked being outside. When I came home from school, I often went straight outside. And I just enjoyed being outside. I think a lot of Canadians enjoy being outdoors. They like camping. Camping is very popular in Canada. Let's see, from Noel. Thanks, Bob. I love to know about Canadian culture as much as I can reach from abroad. So I hope you consider to do more videos with Canadian culture as a topic. We'll see. Maybe I'll do this every year on Canada Day. We'll see. Let's see here. Lolly, elle a dit, j'aime ton petit accent. Oui, I have a little accent. C'est trop mignon. Merci beaucoup. I just wanted to scroll back and see what people were commenting on my French. Anyways, Min says, hello. First, I want to say Happy Canada Day. I'm going to add the word say. How are you? What do you like, English or French? Les deux. Both. Yes, definitely. Musa says, hi, Bob. Well, I'm just wondering why I cannot write in the members only mode, even though I'm a member. Happy Canada Day. Oh, maybe your membership doesn't activate immediately. I would say try, if you can make it to tomorrow's live, I'm sure it will be working then. I wonder if it's not immediate, Musa, or maybe because you just renewed, right? So maybe that has something to do with it. Anyways, check it out. Neston says, how can I get membership, or how can I get a member? There's a join button below, but it doesn't work in every country. So you might not live in a country where it would work. Let's see here. Jasbir says, hello, dear Bob. Very, very thanks for your support to help to learn English. I'm fixing a few things. You are the only person who suggests other YouTube channels to learn English. You are great. Well, because I think like when I learn French from YouTube, I watch 4 or 5 different YouTubers. I watch 3 who teach French, and I watch 2 who are just funny. So yeah, you want to hear a number of different voices. So you should be watching other people. In fact, not Dave or Todd. I'm losing my mind here. Brent from Speak English with This Guy is starting another live lesson in 7 minutes about July 4th. So you can search for Speak English with This Guy on YouTube, and you can go watch another live lesson if you have the time. May says, hi, Teacher Bob. How are you doing? I have heard, we're going to remove the word ever. I've heard that Canadians are really friendly. Is that right? I added an S to Canadian too. I think we try to be. I don't think we always are, but I think we try to be friendly. Rubens from Brazil. Hi, Bob. How are you? Happy Canada Day. My question is, does everyone in Canada like to celebrate Canada Day, or are there people who don't like it? Yeah, there's a few that don't like it. They don't like the noise of the fireworks, and they don't like the noise if there's a concert in the park by their house and someone's playing music loudly. But I think most do. I think most people do enjoy it. Freddie to Frenchie. Is there a risk one day that a moose will come and walk on your property? Little fix there. What would you do in this case? No. We have deer in this area. We regularly see deer, but moose live a little further north. So we do not have a moose or bear problem in this area. There are no moose or bear. You have to go a little bit further north to run into them. Let's see here. Iwa says, Happy Canada Day, or Iwa. Are all Canadians as positive and courteous as you are? Happy Canada Day. I think most of them are. I might be a little naive though, but I think most Canadians are very, very nice. Let's see here. From Jocelyn. Hi, Teacher Bob. It has been a time. I hope you're doing well. We're going to fix that. I'm curious about this. Which are the places where you can get a pet in Canada? So we have stores called pet stores, and you go to the pet store and you can buy a pet from the pet store. Sounds kind of funny, but that's where you get a pet. One of our best dogs that we ever had came from the pet store. From Eric, hey Bob, have a great Canada Day from Germany. Have you ever been there? I have not been to Germany. I would love to visit someday. From Morella, hi Bob, I'm going to Montreal and Toronto next month. Any tips for those who are going for the first time? Well, definitely make sure you see Union Station in Toronto and the CN Tower. Those are both great places. And just enjoy your stay. They're fun cities. Montreal has a lot of more of a historical feel to it if you go to the old downtown, but just enjoy both cities as much as you can. They're both a lot of fun. Hey, that's the end, everybody. We are done this lesson. Thank you so much for hanging out and celebrating Canada Day with me a little bit. It's been fun to talk about my country. And I am very happy that you stuck around. 630 people watching. I'm very happy that I can do these lessons at the normal time again, Friday mornings at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do want to apologize to those of you that couldn't make it for the last 2 weeks because I did them on Thursday night. And tomorrow is the first Saturday of the month. So I will be doing, hopefully, an outdoor live stream. If the weather's bad, I will do it indoors. So if you have questions, any questions about the English language or just questions for me, come tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then lastly, this lesson will get repackaged as a shorter lesson. If you want to re-watch parts that you didn't understand, please do that in a couple days. It just helps my channel if you do watch. What am I trying to say? It helps my channel when people show interest in my videos. So if you come back and watch it, it doesn't just help you, it helps me. Not that I need a lot of help. Things seem to be going quite well. And then just lastly, once again, if you have a moment or if you have some time, in 4 minutes, Brent is starting a lesson on his channel. Head over there, Speak English with this guy. I'm sure he'll be happy to have you and be quite welcoming. I'm going to say bye to Anuat, Harry 300, Key Park, Musa, Mode Eggs, saying bye to Cecilia and Betty Lou and Apple the Frog and Eduardo and Noriko and Pass, Wanda, bye to Wanda. So many people, bye to John, bye to Cheryl, bye to Joel. I'm going to stop saying bye. Thanks to Todd and Dave for hanging out and moderating. It was good to have you here. Have a good day, everyone. Have a good weekend. See you Tuesday with a new video. Bye. I think I forgot to click the button. I'll have a sip of water and then I'll click the button.